Hi, I'm Kyle.
I'm Josh.
This is Two Guys, One Car.
Welcome to our car.
Dude, it starts with Two Guys, One Car. That's the name. It should start
It's
with
welcome to our car.
No, but it has to start with Two Guys, One Car because that's the name of the thing.
Just get in the back seat.
Ride along with us.
Sick, Matt.
All right.
Let's get into it. Dope. Yeah, well, thanks for coming on the podcast. I guess just open up, like, what's your band? What are you guys doing? What are your aspirations?
Yeah, thanks for having us on. So
Thanks.
we're Scatterlight. We are a three-piece psychedelic band, and we are really just trying to make music we love. I think it's one of those things where we're just following our passion, and obviously, you know, we want to make a career of this, but it's something that we're just doing because we're sort of, internally being called to do it, and it's fun. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I love that.
It's the one thing that you want to do. Yeah, it's like for all of you.
100%.
Yeah. Definitely.
For me, in high school, at the end of high school, I really knew that music was what I loved, and, you know, whatever way I could, that's what I wanted to do.
That's sick. And how did you guys meet? Like, how did the band sort of form?
A mutual friend of ours just like called me one day, who actually like used to be in the band.
In a way.
He's a tenor sax player, and which is a bit wild to think. Like, imagine if Scatterlight had a tenor sax player.
Yeah, would have changed everything.
That's funny.
But he called me and he's like, "Hey man, I've got this mate Ollie, and he plays in a psych rock band, and he's a mad hustler." And I was like, "Oh yeah, cool, sounds good." He's like, "Yeah, they just like do as many gigs as they can." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I like gigs, like fucking oath."
Sick.
So we just had to play, and it was fucking mad.
Yeah,
And also the bass player that we're playing with as well, it was a friend of mine which I'd played with quite a bit. So I sort of like, there was like connection through him as well, which was cool.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, a bit of familiarity, but like, yeah, it was a lot of like, yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, and this was like during like mid 2020. So I think as well, probably for you, James, it was like gigs weren't even a thing because we're in the middle of lockdown.
True. Yeah.
And most of this stuff had happened before sort of like the lockdown, early 2020, late 2019 kind of thing. And so I'd gone through a bunch of drummers and bass players too. But
That's right. Yeah, he's like on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, but like, don't be offended if he like doesn't want you because he's been through like 10 drummers." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
But it was just, you know, I always say a band is almost like a relationship because you've got to find the right fit, because sure, you might musically fit, but then there's also like the dynamic. And
100%. Yeah.
It's
Because it's not just you guys like recording or jamming. It's like, well, actually, sorry, it's not just you guys recording, but you'll be jamming for whatever, how many hours, just like trying to find your own thing together.
Yeah.
I mean, even beyond that, just like spending time, like, you know, traveling to gigs, going back and forth, like recording, doing everything. Like, there's so much that goes on like behind the scenes that, you really have to be like, you know, it's like, I was saying to Ollie, like, it's like you have to be like mates before the band.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You have
100%.
that has to be like the priority in a way. You know what I mean?
Because like if you're not mates, then that
It's
vibe's
like-
not going to be there.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
your product's going to be like even worse. And
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's also like, let's say you play a gig and a lot of the time that'll be half an hour or 45 minutes. That's on the stage, but then think about all the time around that. That's
100%.
infinitely more than just playing. So you've got to get on and have a connection because that's such a crucial part of it.
You're hanging out for such a long period of time.
Yeah.
Like,
Which, and also means you guys need to know each other's good side and bad side. Like, it's like when you're tired, at your highest, at your lowest, right? Like you need to like be able to accept each other at both states.
Yeah, it's like a lot of patience, I feel like. Yeah,
for sure.
It's like, it's good.
And not only that, but also like geeing each other up for on stage. Like I'm sure there's been points, or like there will be points where like, well, I don't know, one of you's like feeling pretty off and doesn't want to go perform. But like you guys just have to like know how to lift each other up to like be able to get on stage and perform the best you've ever been.
110%.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like no matter what, as soon as like we play the first note, it just like it all kind of comes back, and you just go, "Yes, okay, this is what we're doing." You know, like, no matter what. Like, I feel like I could be in the shittest mood, like just fucking hate it, don't want to be here. But like, as soon as I like play that first note, I'm just like, "Yes, okay, this is what we're doing." You know, so it's like. it's all there.
It's like the equalizer. That's so cool.
And it speaks to why you guys do it then, clearly.
Yeah, exactly. It like pulls you out of that shit. And then you're like, oh, sick. This is actually like mad. Because it's like, you know, like it's the music which makes it, but like, all the other shit around it, it's just like, you got to get through that to like play, you know? And so like, that's the grind. Yeah. Really, that's the grind. The music's fucking sick.
Yeah, that's the easiest part.
You know, like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. And back to like the cycling through drummers, like what were you looking for? What was the missing piece in all those people?
Like, to be perfectly honest, it was just like commitment in a big way, because as we're saying, like there's so many things that go around it. It's never about the music generally. Like, there were probably a few people we played with and went, oh, maybe not. but like I was just really keen to have a band and have something that, as James and I was saying, is something that we connect outside of it, and you know, we're friends, and it's something that the common goal and the focus is the music and building something. But most people were either like, I like playing drums and you know, that's cool, but they weren't sort of aspirational enough to take it to a place where they were working towards something bigger. And, you know, that's a massive thing as well. I totally understand if you're just coming in for a jam and there's some weird long-haired guy here going, we're going to like dominate, we're going to like build this thing or whatever. Yeah. And that's a maybe an off-putting thing. And it was just always trying to find someone who was committed, I guess was the hardest part.
I think it's like for a lot of people, it's just fear, right? Like they can't see the vision, they can't see the dream.
Right.
Like it's like anyone starting out a small business, a small
100%.
band. It's like you guys are here in your garage shed with no one there, and you guys are saying like one day we're going to perform in front of thousands, millions. Like everyone's going to hear our music, kind of thing. And like in that moment, like there's two kinds of people: those that like share that common goal and that dream, and they're like, hell yeah, dude, we're going to do it. Or like the realists and like, I don't know, the pessimistics that are like, dude, no way that's going to happen. Like I like playing drums, but we're not that good. This won't happen. And it's like, once you've found those people, because like you guys are on your trajectory of like where you want to be.
100%. I think I see it so many times in like, you know, you see these musician forums and things online where people are trying to find bandmates together, and you see, it's kind of a joke, but
like a Tinder for like bands.
Well, there's like like Facebook groups. It's like bands looking for members, members looking for bands.
And well, you see in those that people go, oh, no time wasters. I want like committed people only. And it's kind of a cliche, because of course you want a committed person, but I see the frustration because there's so many people that go, oh yeah, this could be fun, but then, you know, your girlfriend wants to hang out, and your job and your boss wants you to work on the weekends, and, you know, you also want to see your mates and do all this stuff, because there is so much that goes on. It's not just like, oh, let's have a bash.
You know? And that's the thing as well. I think that's like why I was like initially like, I mean, and am so keen on, and why this sort of project works so well is that, you know, we are both so invested in this, you know, and like, and we like Ollie and I, we both have like, as he was saying, like Ollie has an amazing intensity, which like, you know, can put like, which can probably put some people off. But so do I. And I think that like together, that just, you know, it's like a really, really powerful combo, and we sort of just are able to smash it out.
Well, I guess,
you know, just get shit done.
The vibe I get from you guys, you're both dreamers. Like, and I feel like for us, we're on a similar path of like, we're trying to do something that we both want to do, like a lot. Like we really want to do it. And we both share that, and you're sort of willing to put things aside, and it's almost like the sacrifices you make are what make it up. So I'd be interested to ask you guys, like initially, like, did you guys sacrifice anything to start doing this? Were you on a certain type of path, or like how long have you sort of done this for?
Well, I mean, I do music like full time. So like I'm studying music and I teach.
Sick.
And I also play in a few other bands.
So fully in the circle, like you do everything.
Like everything I do is
wow.
Like all I do is play drums. And
living the dream.
But I mean, like Scatterlight's my number one. Like that's, you know,
of course.
Like, you know, it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I guess like the biggest sacrifice is just like time. But it's like if that's what we want to do,
you're not really sacrificing.
It's not really a sacrifice, you know.
Mm.
I guess, yeah.
I think for me, I personally kind of went from sort of the end of high school, kind of went, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to shape my life around this.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't so much this was sacrificing things. I mean, probably from an outsider's perspective, you could see and look at the single-minded thing and go, oh, well, you're sacrificing maybe this part of your social life because, you know, on a Friday and Saturday night, you're playing a gig, not going to the party or whatever. But I think...
Party's at the gig, man.
Yeah. In a strange way. It's sort of like I've always kind of gone, well, of course you want to hang out at the party. Of course you want to see your friends. And that's great. But playing the gig is such a rewarding and fulfilling thing.
And there's
that it's
so much more in that, right?
Right. And you get the social aspect of that side of the party where it's like, you know, you're
always meeting people.
You're meeting new people. You're meeting friends there that you haven't seen in a while because they'll go, oh, you guys are playing here or whatever. I'll come check you out. Or so there are sacrifices, but I think for me personally, at least, it was sort of, I love it so much that I'm going to shape my life around this. So it's not so much, I don't look at it like a sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's more that
it's just, it's like that delayed gratification of like that immediate, like if you're at the party, drunk, get with girl, like whatever it is, like you're getting that right then and there. But like the band, like you guys have your vision. I'd like be interested to hear what that is in a second. Like you guys are working towards something and you're not there yet. Like maybe you're never going to get there. You're never going to be fully satisfied with what you guys are doing. Like, because you're always clearly like your chasers, your dreamers, like you're always going to be working towards it. And it's a matter of like playing these gigs, playing like however many people rock up, whatever it is. It's like, you know that one day like you're going to like quote unquote have made it and like it'll be worth it. But like on that, like what is the vision? Like where do you guys want to be and what is like making it for you?
I think making it, or like obviously being successful is nice, but I think fundamentally like playing music that's genuine to us and you know, just if we can make music that we are really stoked with, then we'll be satisfied. Then we'll be like, you know, that's what we want to do. And then on top of that, it's like if we can share that with heaps of people, that's even more sick. And if people like it, that's even more sick. So it's like we're just kind of like, but you have to start from something that's like genuine to us, you know, because like if we're playing, because you can play the game of playing the music that the people want, you know, in a way, and like that's cool, and you might find success out of that, but it's like, is it? I don't know. That's just it's not appealing to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, just follow what we think is.
I think that also, in a way, is ultimate success. Is when you're doing what you want to do.
What is success for you guys? Like, how do you define it?
I think the internal way of going, this is what we really want to be doing, is ultimate success, because I personally feel that it would be a really kind of demoralizing thing to be, I guess, exteriorly successful and have a lot of people wanting to hear the music you play. But if that's not music you want to play, that's when I think it becomes a burden and like a job.
Well, then you're enslaved to like pleasing others.
And in a way, it's like that's what we're doing right now, is we're making music that's genuine to us and that we're stoked with, you know. And so in a way, I already feel like we're successful because that's what we're doing. You know? It's like that is the dream, as you guys said earlier. It's like, I mean, for me personally as well, like I just love the drums, right? So if I can spend all my time something involving drums, you know, whether that's sharing what I know or learning or playing or just sitting at home just, you know, noodling and shredding, trying to get better, like all of that shit, like that for me is success, because I have the ability to spend my time doing that. And that's like, what more do I want? You know?
And I've thought about it too, in the way that as long as you're doing what you love consistently, and you know, whatever way that comes into play, you're making that happen. If you've got the day job that sort of fills the void and makes that a possibility, I think as long as you're doing what you're doing, you are successful.
Yeah, definitely.
Doing what you love, that's the ultimate success. And yeah, sure, we can look at, if only I was here and if only I was this. But as you were saying before, that chase is always going to be on.
That never ends.
And
it can always be,
when are you satisfied?
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And I think it's a healthy thing to have that as well, because as humans, I think we love progression and we want to keep evolving and getting better. But at the same time, you've just got to be really internally satisfied with if you're doing, and for us playing the music we love, well then that is us being successful.
I think it comes back to just enjoying the process. Like you can put it down to that.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it's like ultimately like what's in your control versus like what's not. Like everything you guys are speaking of as success is everything that's within your control. Like your ability to go and play the drums, your ability to make genuine music. You guys have total control over that, but you have no control over how many people listen. You have no control whether people love or hate your music. And like you guys have really narrowed it down to like the perfect like cup of what success is, and it's everything within your control. Like what you guys can be doing. That is success for you guys. And I think that's the best way to look at it, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did you guys get into music? When did that start for you both?
I think for me, it was a slow progression. Cause I grew up with my dad and my grandfather were both musicians.
Okay.
And so there was sort of a bit of a heritage line there where my grandfather was the bass player for a 50s Australian rock and roll band, Johnny O'Keefe. And so that was sort of like the earliest part of rock music. So in a weird way, it's sort of from the beginning been in my family. And so,
that is awesome.
Yeah, I've always had that sort of influence and been introduced to a lot of music through my grandfather and through my dad. And so I first picked up the guitar when I was, I want to say about 8.
Okay, wow.
Okay.
But I only played, maybe I was 8 or 9, but I only played for about a year because I picked it up and I enjoyed it, but then didn't really. And then as, when you're 9 and 10, your interests change and you're this little sponge that wants to do everything all the time. And so then I think I just went, I just want to play rugby, and, wasn't super keen on the practice or anything. And so I put it down, and I kind of felt really bad because my dad bought me this amazing guitar, which I still play to this day and still love. It's my favorite guitar, but it was a really, really quite expensive guitar for a 9-year-old. Especially, I kind of look back and go, "What?" But I'm super grateful for that because his mentality was, well, we could give you one of those crappy little nylon string guitars, but if you've got the bee's knees and you're playing with that, that's, I guess, a motivator, but then also something that will allow you to continue the passion because you're playing on something that's good. You know what I mean? So anyway, I put it down, and my dad probably should have sold that guitar, but I think he deep down kind of went, I'll just hold on to it. I'll see what happens. And so for about 4 years or so, I played rugby and sport and did all that. And then I remember one of my good mates, funny enough, was at a party, and this is like the most classic like TV thing. I kind of think about it and cringe a little bit, but he was playing like Ed Sheeran acoustic songs and getting all the chicks, because he could play like 2 or 3 songs on guitar that they all knew and loved, and it wasn't anything crazy. It was just, like 4-chord acoustic songs, and they were just like, "Oh, you're the best." As like a little insecure 13 or 14-year-old, I was like, "Oh, I want that too." And so I remember going, I should pick up the guitar again. And then instead of, it started from this super self-absorbed kind of way, but then it turned into, I really love these records that my dad used to show me, like the Led Zeppelins and Pink Floyd and all these early 60s and 70s kind of bands. And then it just fell into me picking the guitar up and going, can I remember how to play that song? Or I really love this song, so I'm going to learn that part of this song. And it totally became, it just became this thing where I was just obsessed with the process of learning different songs and hearing the music that I loved and really connected with, and then could translate that into something that I could learn and do and express myself with. And so then it was never about like the acoustic guitar at the party, but it turned into just deep passion for something that I really connected with and loved. So then from there, just kept playing all through high school until I decided to start making bands and trying to play some gigs when we were 18 and old enough to do so.
Imagine if that party didn't happen.
Yeah.
What would it have been?
Yeah, who knows, man? I could have just been, I'd probably still be playing rugby or something like that. And look at me now, it's like I would get decked. I am not suited for rugby at all.
Yeah.
And it's just really a bizarre turn. But I'm super grateful.
That 100%.
Yeah.
Coming back to like when you were like 8, 9 years old and put down the guitar.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think it was that like forced you to kind of put it down? Do you think it was just like your social environment and stuff like that?
I think it was probably a mix of few things. It was, I think I at the time was, for whatever reason, connected to sport and specifically like rugby. I remember at the time, I think that I always had the drive to do something and be passionate about something. And for whatever reason, it could have been that I didn't have to work as hard to play sport or do something like that. And it was frustrating because, like learning anything, at the start, you're obviously not very good at it. And so as an 8 or 9 year old, I probably just went, oh, this is hard and it's a lot of work, and didn't quite fully get the delayed gratification thing we were talking about before. So, I think it was a mix of things. I think it was probably that I really wanted to do something and be good at something sort of straight away, as all young kids do. So, it's hard to put my finger on, but I think coming back to it when I was ready and personally keen on it is a super important thing as well, because I see a lot of young people, especially in primary school, that get told they have to play a certain instrument, and it kind of ruins the whole thing for you, because if your parents or school or something goes, all right, now Timmy, you're playing the clarinet, and that's cool and it's good to get kids involved in that thing, but if they don't connect with the clarinet and they don't really want to be doing it and they're kind of being forced to do it, you lose the magic of what music can provide you, this expression, this outlet that is so unlike anything else. And I'm sure all artists on some level get that kind of expression. But if you're from a young age associating that art and music with something that you have to do and you're forced to do and you don't connect with, I think that's such a toxic thing.
Definitely.
Because it has to be organic.
On top of that, I think another part of it is if you can't play the music on your instrument that you're into, or at least replicate it in some way, that's really a recipe for someone to just give it up and never go back to playing music. Because, for instance, if you get the flute as a young kid and you're playing in all these flute ensembles and classical music, which is all amazingly complex and beautiful music, but if you're into the Red Hot Chili Peppers and you play the flute, it's kind of like, well, it's really hard to translate and learn the things that that band has that you connect with on the flute, because you can't play that guitar line or learn the bass part or play the drums like your heroes. And so that connection between another artist and what's inspiring you is inherently not there, because that's what I think pulls you out of the, this is really hard and I'm not good at this, but if I keep playing, I'll be able to play the things I love and I connect with. And so that's what I personally feel like gets you to that stage where you can express yourself and push past the sort of remote learning. And I mean, James can speak way more about this because he's actually a teacher. But
Yeah, true.
yeah, that's a long-winded way of saying my story.
Yeah, no, that's so awesome. And like, I think just on that, when we spoke about work ethic, like I have a recipe for work ethic, and like the most important thing is desire. Like if your desire isn't there, like your output's never going to be as good. And as you were saying, like if that kid doesn't want to play the clarinet, like they're never going to be as good as someone that wants to play the clarinet. And it's like, because like when you have that desire, it eats away at you, or you like it consumes your mind. Exactly. It's all you think about day and night. Like you just want to be playing the clarinet versus like that one kid that shows up to clarinet practice for 1 hour a week on a Tuesday. And like for the rest of the week, they're just not thinking about it. And like come Monday Arvo or Tuesday morning, they're like, damn it, I don't want to go to clarinet practice today.
Yeah.
But it's that kid that wants to do it is going to like be watching shows, like videos, listening to the clarinet, like just crafting it. And it's like ultimately they're going to get to 10,000 hours way quicker than that guy that just does it 1 hour a week.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So how about you, James? How do you sort of get into music?
Well, I mean, I guess my family is pretty musical as well. Like my dad's a bass player and he played in bands and things like when he was like our age, and is really just always been putting me onto music. But like I never really like decided to play the drums. Like I started, I guess you'd say, like very young. Like I got my first drum kit when I was 2.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah. So and then I started lessons when I was like 4.
Oh, yeah.
And and then
4.
Yeah, 4.
Wow.
Is that normal?
Well, I mean, I sometimes teach kids who are like 5.
Wow.
I've never taught a 4-year-old.
4.
To be honest, like I couldn't imagine teaching a 4-year-old.
Do you even speak when you're 4?
Yeah, I was playing with Legos, maybe.
Yeah, like not even at that stage yet. Just like Play-Doh still.
I still have my first drum homework from my very first lesson.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, yeah,
Things
it's just
like
like
that.
it's like 4 quarter notes of right,
That's
like left, and I'm
sick.
like, holy fuck, we all start somewhere.
Yeah. That's
so
sick.
like, but yeah, I mean, and then just from there, like, I don't know, it was interesting because like I always played music and like I always like really connected with music, and it was just something that I always kind of did, you know. I never like, I like when you were talking about like it has to be organic and like you can't be forced. I think my parents like tried to get me to practice like once or twice. Like that's it. But I don't know, for like the first couple years or whatever, like I don't know, until I was like 10, I didn't like I played, but I wasn't really like, or I never like had the intention of getting better. Like I was just like, this is just fun.
Something you do.
Something I do, you know. And then through like high school as well, like I got like, you know, I did all these other things, and like I didn't even know I wanted to be like a pro muso until like year 11 or year 10 probably.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's the thing, it was just something I did, and then like, but I had like all these other like avenues. Like I was really into downhill mountain biking at one point.
Whoa.
Cool.
So like I was doing like state races and like traveling and like trying to like I was practicing on that, you know, like I was really trying to make that, like I was like, yeah, fucking right, I want to be a downhill mountain bike, like race World Cups and shit.
Yeah.
But like but yeah, then I don't know, it was just like, it's like injuries and things happen. I sort of like had to like make a decision eventually, sort of with everything. Like I was like, fuck, do I want to be a mountain biker or do I want to play the drums?
Yeah.
And like, to be fair, that's not like a bad decision to be making.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have. But
Why'd you choose music?
well, it's been there from the beginning.
Okay.
You know, like that's
like
what I
your
realized.
roots.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, yeah, I got my first kit when I was 2, but before that, I was like pulling out pots and pans and shit, and like just grabbing sticks and stuff. And so my parents were like, "What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this kid? Like, we need to throw him behind a kit." And see what happens, you know? Like, so yeah, it's, and then I mean, I guess in terms of like actual like musical experience, like my first, like I started playing in my dad's band. Like he had a, you know, like a local group of, you know, dads that had their rock band and they needed a drummer. And I was like, I think I was maybe 11, or maybe even 10. And we would do like the local like fireworks night at the school and whatever. Yeah. Like I was like 11, like playing like The Clash and like sort of just like music that they were listening to when they were our age. And I was just like, yeah, it was sick. I guess that was like my first gigging experience.
Yeah.
And then, just kind of went from there. Like, I mean, playing in school bands, and then I got into jazz, like playing in the school big band, which was sick. And I had a like really amazing mentor who sort of like opened my eyes to the world of like jazz music and the potential for like a career in jazz. And so that's what I'm doing at the moment is I'm studying jazz at Sydney Con.
Oh, dope.
And so like I have a real passion for jazz music.
Yep.
And I just like love how, I feel like it's the original pop. I mean, it is the original pop music. Like everything,
good point.
Everything stemmed from that like traditional, so kind of, I feel like if you can play jazz well, it sort of allows you to play whatever you want with some level of proficiency, like if you can play jazz, you can sort of find your way through most things, and then just like, I guess in terms of like my listening experience, like the reason why I love playing in this band is I just try and be a sponge, right? Like I try and just take something from like everything I listen to. So, and I love playing rock and psych rock. Like I guess something that my dad put me onto was the Chili Peppers. And like, that was probably like one of the first bands where I was like, these guys are fucking sick. Like, this shit right here is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And so, I was like, I just love rock music as well. Like I just love music.
Yeah.
Really.
Sick. So that was around like, you probably like what you said your first gig was like 11?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So then from there, what does it look like? You go through school. Did you finish school like HSC?
Yeah. Yep. So what was nuts is that I wanted to be an engineer all through school as well. Okay. So I was like studying.
So that's the initial dream. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because I was like, I want to be a musician, but engineering's my plan B. I mean, sorry.
Yeah, engineering's your backup.
Engineering's my backup. So like, I'm going to study to get into engineering, and that's what I did. So I got into Macquarie studying mechanical engineering, and like I was just so burnt out from school, and it was like taking up all my time. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this is my plan B. Like, I should be.
I'm spending all my time doing my plan B. That makes no sense.
That's
you're just lying to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, fuck this. I dropped out like after like one semester, and I just spent the next and then I had like through like some conversations which I had with my high school mentor, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and go get into the con, because at this point like I had like no musical connections. Like I was like, all my friends who like played music, like they didn't want to do it, like they weren't gonna be musicians. So I was just like, well, I have to do something, and so I spent the next like year and a half, 2 years just like in my room, just like playing the drums and trying to get good.
Sick.
And then eventually I got into the con, but I didn't get in first try. And then, just met people, met more, met Ollie, just did more gigs. So I don't know, that's how it happened.
Following that desire.
Just for clarification, what's the con?
Oh, the con is the Sydney Conservatorium.
Okay.
So it's like the jazz school in Sydney. Like it's pretty gnarly.
Do you just sort of like apply to get in, or is it sort of like you were saying?
It's a very rigorous and difficult like audition to get in. Like it's quite hard.
Based off like you'll be pretty humble. Is it like a pretty like elite thing to go to?
Well, I see. This is the funny thing. James and I have very different paths in this kind of area, because James is probably in the hardcore, or at least what I consider like the hardcore music school path. But then I'm quite the opposite. I've never had any formal music training in that sense. Like I did.
Sick.
I did.
You're both different.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think it's a really cool
beautiful combination.
It's powerful. Yeah.
But I mean, I did lessons throughout high school for guitar, and I did music class throughout high school, but I never went and did uni or anything like that, because I just fell in love with songwriting. And so that was something I just felt I could work on at home. And instead of having to go, do this presentation on the history of this kind of music, I went, well, I just want to be writing music at home and learning records and sort of figuring out my own way. But sorry, to answer your question, I mean, from the outside looking in, it's a pretty hard, hardcore.
It's the hardest to get into.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess definitely Australia.
Whoa.
I don't know about like yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
Shit.
Yeah.
Good job.
What is nice, dude. What does so what does that, I know we sort of asked about how you get into music, but what does that sort of look like for you week to week? Like, is that like,
well, you go to work,
Yeah.
or you go to study. Like if you study something, I go to class and we just talk about music all
Sick.
day, every day.
you're in your element?
Yeah.
That's cool.
What it's like
And how like many hours a week, like how many days type thing?
every day.
Every day.
Well, yeah, I'm at uni 5 days a week.
Wow.
And
Like today as well? Oh no, you're on holiday.
I'm on holidays, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like outside of that, like I mean, they sort of, I guess the expectation is to be practicing like 4-ish hours a day. Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, it's I mean,
That's
like it's
legit.
intense, but here's the thing, it's like I was talking about, like, you know, drums is just what I love to do, and like, yes, you can call it practice, but I mean, genuinely what I love to do is I love to sit in my room all day and play the drums from fucking when I wake up to when I go to sleep.
Yeah.
If I can do that, I'm happy. And so that might be 10 hours.
Well, they call it practice.
They
You call it
practice.
play.
I just, exactly.
Yeah, you call it play.
And like playing with the intent to get better.
Yes.
So therefore, is it practice?
No. Yeah.
It is,
Yeah,
but it's
Yeah,
like,
but
it's
it-
what I want to do.
yeah.
So, you know,
There's no discipline in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like there might be at times
Well,
for sure.
you have to be, there are things that you have to work on. Like,
Yeah,
it's like,
definitely.
these are the weaknesses in my playing, and I have to be really like focused on these things. And maybe it's not exactly what you want to do, but like, you know, I just, you know, I enjoy the process of getting better. Like I have a saying, it's like, like getting better is a side effect of enjoying practice,
Definitely.
you know?
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
That's
So it's
cool.
like, that's how I think. I enjoy it. It's like, it's what I want to do. So yeah. It's fun.
I have like, I don't know, a bit of a question with like the metric of being better in music, because it is very much like a individual like expression of art. Like at what point are you like good enough at the drums, but then at what point are you just conforming to what somebody else deems as good?
Well, that's the thing. I think you have like technical proficiency, and then you have like aesthetics. Like, what do you like? And so, like, and that's the whole thing. It's like, if it's genuine to you, then what else is there? Like,
who's to tell you that's
who's,
wrong or
who's
right?
to tell you that's wrong or right? If I like it, great.
Yeah.
That's
Definitely.
sick, you know? And I can take from all my musical influences, and I can like decide I'm not even decide what you like. You know what you like. You just like it. So I go, that's fucking sick. That's fucking sick. Not so much into that, but yeah, cool. But there's still something to be taken from everything. And so like, like technical proficiency, and then if it's genuine to you. And so that's why I play rock. Like, and in a funny way, like the con's a weird one, because there's such a jazz kind of like, there's a lot of like bullshit at the con. I feel like there's a lot of like, what's the word? Like, jazz is the best kind of the best
like
music.
a mentality kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like
Agenda?
It's like,
No.
yeah, it's like they're just not very like open to
okay.
like other music. Where I feel like being brought up on rock and on all this other shit, and like, I mean, just like I know what I like, and I like playing fucking sick music with my mates. Like, I mean, I've got like, I play in another band as well, which is we just play improvised groove music.
Oh, cool.
Fully improvised. You know, me and two of my best buddies, we just play. We do gigs, and it's fucking sick. You know,
Yeah.
and that's what we like. You know, and what was genuine to us is not writing songs. We tried, and we were like, we're not really into this.
Yeah.
Like, what is more genuine to us is just playing improvised groove music. And so with Ollie and I, it's like, what's genuine to us is like, we just like making like red hot shit.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we have a criteria for like, if it's cool, and the criteria is like, is it fucking red hot? Like, if it's like, you know, if it's like, that's the thing. But it's like, you know, you could ask like, well, what is red hot? It's just like, if you know, you know.
You know, who cares? Yeah, who cares what it is? It's just you guys feel it, and that's it.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. At what point do you think I don't know, it's probably like too hard to say, but at what point do you think you will need to like drop other bands or like put more time into Scatterlight, like being that is, as you said, like the top priority?
It's a good question. I haven't, I feel like I'll cross that bridge when I come there.
Yeah, when you get to it.
You know?
Yeah, because you don't know what that really looks like, hey?
No, exactly.
It could be like a sudden, like, oh my God, and I don't have time to do anything else.
Well,
and or it could just naturally happen.
And in a funny way, it's like, I feel like I'll always be playing with other people.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's what's genuine to me is I just like playing music with my friends, you know? And so like Ollie's my friend, you know, and we play music together, but like, I just like playing music with my friends. So
yeah. And I think
even if it's not professionally, it's like,
I think that's another difference between James and I, which also adds to the uniqueness, is that I'm quite single focused in that I sort of go, well, I want to start something and I want to put all my energy into that, and everything I do output wise goes towards this Scatterlight entity and in Scatterlight. And so I think James is probably more so artistically looking to have different outlets, which I think is actually a really healthy thing, because you don't want to get bogged down in one certain thing. And that's what I think from the start as well, James and I tried to embody with Scatterlight. From even the name, Scatterlight was a name that we thought didn't box us into anything, so that we could take our music wherever we want at any certain time that's genuine to us, because there's a lot of bands that have a name which is really like genre defining and puts you in a box. So if your name's like Rotting Carcass or something, you make a very specific type of hard metal music probably, and you can never leave that, because if you went to play jazz, I mean that's a very extreme movement, but
I'm gonna name my jazz band.
If people would look at that and immediately get an idea of the music, but what we at least tried to do with Scatterlight was go, well, that's a name that could be anything and we can make it whatever we want. So right now, what's genuine to us has been more rock-based music, but who's to say, I mean, I've said this before, who's to say in 10 years' time we're like an electronic DJ and we just do like random EDM stuff. Like,
maybe.
No, that's what we're saying. We just want to keep the door open and we're not boxing ourselves in to a certain genre or a certain idea, because we can always go back and play those kind of genres. But I think we also have such a wide array of influences and like different things. And as James said, you know, take an aspect from here and we really like this part of this kind of music. And so I think it's both not putting a box on it in a genre defining kind of way, but also allowing us to be original in the music we create, because we're taking so many different elements and we're trying to master them together.
That's like genuinely so awesome, because like I feel like these days people are like beginning to be more and more open-minded and like not necessarily like anchor themselves down to like one career, one way of thinking, one way of living. And
100%.
like the thing is, like for so long, like we're always conditioned to like choose a team, like it's like red or blue team, and it's like people just feel that they need to stay with that team for life, but you really don't. Like you guys, as you said, like you're like almost preparing yourself to like venture out into other kinds of music, other genres.
Well, it's interesting, like the stuff that we're writing now is changing. Like I feel like especially like I always think about it this way, like we formed as a band during lockdown, which was a very like stressful time for all of us. And so I feel like the music that we wrote back then was like stressful music. Like it's rock music. It's like it's got a real edge to it, you know, but as we progress and as we, you know, try and explore new avenues, like what we're writing these days is very, very dance based. It's like, it can be very, but also like, it's a lot, I wouldn't say softer. It's definitely still got that edge, but we approach it in a different way.
Okay.
Like we've got a lot more like textural elements, and we're sort of like exploring new concepts and sounds. And it's like on the drums as well. Like I'm very open and trying to explore like new methods of approaching the drums and different beats and different ways of getting people to move on the drums. And so like it's all very like movement based in the sense that the music is there to try and get people dancing. Like it's dance music, but it's psych dance music, and so I think that's the thing, that it's like we're definitely like a psych band because we like textural elements and we like sort of ambient kind of just I guess how would you define psych music? Like I would say it is textural
I mean the word psychedelic literally means mind expanding, but I think it's more just those textural elements and flavors was really what we both connected to and united us through, the jazz drummer and the kid who liked playing Led Zeppelin. And so I think, as James said, we've got this more groove, danceable music, but I think that's also been informed from playing a lot of live shows. Like the original set and music we created a lot of it was in lockdown and when gigs weren't happening. So you can rehearse in a room and create music, and that's a really beautiful thing when you're all just together bouncing off ideas, and it's such a great time. But until you bring that to the live stage, you'll never truly know how people react to that. And it's not as intense as something like comedy where you literally need a reaction, but it's more so you want to get a certain reaction from that. And so bringing the songs to a live audience was informed how we played the music, and then sort of through doing lots of shows and gigs, we went, well, this will inform how we make new music.
It's also like what we've been listening to.
100%. It's a mix. It's not just one element. Of course,
it's like I feel like it's also like we have the background of like rock music, but like as our listening develops and evolves, like so is our writing. That's what'll happen, and that's just sort of where we've been at.
A question I wanted to ask you guys was is there like a certain feeling that you want to portray through your music? Because I was like listening to you guys in the bath last night, and I was sitting there, and
awesome.
And for me, like when I thought, okay, like what does music do for me? Like why do I like certain songs? Why don't I like certain songs? And I boiled it down to like it's a feeling. Like I listen to music and it makes me feel a certain way. So I was sitting there, eyes closed, listening, and like the feelings I got and sort of the scene that like I had in my mind was like curiosity. I don't know how to explain it, but like I felt like I was like in stealth mode, like weaving my way through like the long tall grass, like not knowing what is like beyond the grass, but just like drawn to it. Like I just wanted to keep going further and find out what was going to be on the other side of that grass. So yeah, I'm curious, like is there a certain feeling or scene that you want to portray?
I think it like I don't think we ever have the intention of saying we're going to write a song which makes you feel like you're crawling through the long grass searching for that thing. But what we do is I was like, what we do is we just try and like create something. I mean, we've like is something that's genuine. Like when we're writing, we both know if there's a tangible feeling there. And that's amazing that you've had that feeling. That's awesome. That makes me so happy. I don't think we ever have the intention or the goal from the beginning, but of like creating a certain feeling, but we usually follow a feeling, if that makes sense. Like we'll be jamming on something and we go, wow, we really connect with that in some way, whether that's a feeling like of curiosity, or maybe it's a feeling of nostalgia. Like I love listening to music that makes me feel nostalgic. I feel like our track Botanical is, for me personally, I sit there and I go, oh, this is like makes me feel like all the things.
Wow, is that on your newest EP?
Yeah.
Okay, is that the first song?
Yes.
No.
Oh, sorry, first.
No,
it's
first track. Sorry.
Yeah.
Is it the first track?
Third track.
Third.
Or is it the fourth?
No.
Oh, it's the third. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I was thinking the first single, but
What's the first track on your
Mountain
new EP?
Stream.
So that is the song that resonated, because I listened to your stuff last night, and that was the song that resonated with me the most.
Amazing.
Because I actually went to.
It's so interesting.
I was at Mona Vale Headland. So Mona Vale Headland, and like the sunset was super orange.
Yeah.
Like really, really orange and
Right.
sort of like tangerine-y.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there. I had my windows down, and like I was just staring into the sun, like right at the sun.
Yeah.
And like the song reminded me so much of what's the song called? Shine On You Crazy Diamond
Oh yeah.
by Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
It's the one that's the better half. There's like the two parts.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's 1 to 5.
I think that's
The first one.
I think is that the commonly known as like the better one, I think. Anyway, that one. I'm pretty sure it's the same one that I love too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it reminded me of that, and like I was just sitting there, and it took me to like this place where it was like I was driving,
Yeah.
but I wasn't in a car. Does that make sense? So I was like on a highway moving, but there was no sound but your song.
Yeah.
And like I don't know what it was, and like I ended up at like the top of this mountain, and I'm literally just staring at the sun, and I can see like I'm on the top of this mountain, just like snowy caps,
Wow.
and just like there is no sound, but like just like me listening to this song.
It's amazing.
I thought it was I thought it was the same song you were talking about then, but it wasn't.
No,
but that
it's
was
Well, that one's an interesting one because that the way that track came about. I mean, we have this intro track which we play in our live shows.
Yep.
Which is the same chord progression and the same riff, but we do it a bit faster.
okay.
But for the EP, you know, we're always trying to like, I don't know, we're just trying to get weird with shit, and we're like, why don't we just slow it down a lot?
Yeah.
And we did. And I just recently come back from like a solo road trip, and I was up in Bellingen at a place called Never Never, which is like, it's like this little creek. And I was sitting by the creek, and it's called Never Never, and it just feels like a magical creek. Like it feels like out of a fairy tale.
Wow.
It's such a beautiful place. It's like probably one of, if not my favorite places in the world. Like
That's
it's
awesome.
so pristine and so gorgeous. And the feeling of peace that I get when I'm there is overwhelming. And we had this riff and we slowed it down, and I was like, we can kind of sink into that. And it reminded me of that place, like this really gentle sort of guitar line. And then but I mean, the way it works is eventually like it sort of cascades over and becomes sort of like overwhelming, but in the song. But initially it reminded me of that place. And so we sort of decided to follow that, you know, beginning with these nature sounds and the sound like whitbirds and things. And then the bass line like gently comes in. Yeah. Like those things were kind of very like, wow, like I just want to like sink back into that place. Like how can like, yeah, like, and so that was the thing that we were following is kind of like, we were like, let's take that feeling and follow it and see what happens, you know, but using the structure of this intro track, which Ollie had written, for the live show. And so, yeah, that's really cool that you've had that experience.
Yeah.
That's
it was freaking great.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I loved that EP. That was great. Like I got to the end of it and I was like, oh, it's the end.
That's awesome. Did you listen all the way through?
Yeah. Like from start to finish, no shuffle, just like top to bottom.
That's the way.
That's how we recorded it in one take.
Whoa.
So
well, do all of them transition into the next? Yeah, because I was not thinking about that consciously. I was kind of just listening.
That's great.
And then you go like, oh shit, it's the end. Like turn the Spotify radio and shit off. So then it's not like your next, like your other EP or anything like that. Yeah, it was freaking great.
That's awesome. Yeah, because we had this concept where we found ourselves live playing songs that, I guess a set structure where all the songs flowed into each other because we wanted to keep the continuous story. And I guess intensity, but intensity at different levels. And this is something that I know James talks about a lot, is something can be equally as intense when it's really quiet as if when it's super loud.
That's very true.
There's all levels of intensity.
Yes. Yeah.
So we went, let's translate that element of the live show to the listener at home and try and capture that on a record in the studio. So
what's the best way to do that?
We had all these songs, and it was so cool and quite creatively stimulating, really, to join them together, because it wasn't that all the songs, it wasn't just like one long jam we had and then went, oh, that's our
EP.
We'll just make songs.
No, we had songs.
We had individual songs, and the concept was, well, if you connect with this one song, you can listen to that as a single in your playlist, but really each song is it's a chapter of the book. So you can read an individual chapter that's your favorite and keep coming back to that, but really the story is told by reading all or listening to all the
from beginning to end.
Because I made a playlist just with all your songs, and then I started shuffling it, and then as I listened to it, I was like, oh, I'm not really doing this any service, am I? But just like listening to them like shuffled and like the both different, because you have 2 EPs.
Yes.
So like listening to them differently. Then I listened to it from top to bottom, and it was just so different. So that definitely does come out in the music, 100%.
That's awesome. Because we went into the studio and we did the basic tracks. So because we're just a 3-piece, the guitar, bass and drums without stopping
from beginning
to end. Yeah. And so we went into
this, like a full 30-minute take or 28-minute take.
Yeah.
So like I think we did it 5 times.
Yeah, 5 or 6 times.
The fifth time was the take.
What was the feeling like on the 5th take?
Well, that's the thing, right? That's what made this experience so amazing. Yeah, that we wanted we wanted to capture this story that we are both very familiar with, and we wanted to present that. And so doing it in one go, I mean, there's a lot of pressure, right? You could be 15 minutes in, 15 minutes of playing into a half-hour take, and you fuck up. That's in there, you know. So it's like that's pressure.
Yeah, and then there's like the added pressure of like studio cost and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, there was that as well. There was financial constraints, which is like maybe it's a good idea to see if we can do it in one day.
But kind of economically minded.
But it really allowed us to tell that story in the most organic way. Which is what made it so special. Is that, I mean, I felt, and I know like we all felt it, like, but I speak from my experience. Like when I was in there playing, there was no thought. It was just giving. I was just trying to tell this. I would just,
like you had no pressure. You sort of alleviated yourself of that.
It all disappears. Again, like once you play the first note, it all disappears. And I was just you're just in it, like playing, and you're like, yes, this is cool, you know?
Yeah.
And it felt right. It felt really, and I feel like what we produced at the end, we were all so happy with. Yeah. Like we got the take, we did it, you know? We were so happy with it.
Cool.
And I think the other beautiful part about doing it all in one take is that in the same way a live show has this raw essence to it, because you can't redo it, it's got this human feeling, and all the songs you would have noticed are quite different tempo-wise too.
Yes.
So it's not like we set the metronome, so it's just clicking away and we're playing along to the track. It's a very...
It was raw, like no metronome. It was all just,
Yeah.
Sick.
And so that was quite the human element that was brought to it, because mainly James, obviously being the drummer, was expressing that in his most pure way from each track, and building off the momentum of the last song and getting into that flow, captured something that I personally don't think you could get if you just went, all right, we're doing this song 100 times until we get the one when it's you know, connected to the click or whatever. So I think it was something really special that we as James said, we're stoked with.
So do you feel like that's something you guys would want to do again in future recording, or you just see how it goes?
We're always like looking for new ways of doing things, I guess. Like that was a way, and that's now a tool in the tool belt. We can do that. If we want to do it again, we can.
Yeah.
I don't, like our goals and the things that we want to do, we haven't like really discussed doing it again, but I mean, maybe.
It's not off the table.
It's not off the table. Yeah. It's just like, as I said, like that's what was genuine to us at the time. It's what we wanted to do. We were like, we want to tell this story. This is what we're going to do. You know, maybe in the future, it's like we want to get a lot more into like, we want to get a lot more into just making everything like 100% perfect. Like, and so we do all the overdubs, we make sure it's all exactly, you know, the way we want it. And, you know, I mean, there's so many different methods of, you know, production, and that's just one method, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah. I think we chose that one at the time too, because, if you just listen to popular radio at all, there is a very strong tendency of having super shiny produced, you know, to the nth degree music, with auto-tune and all that kind of stuff going on. And I think we just kind of went, well, we're playing these live shows that's raw, and we want to express that element, because we didn't think too many bands were doing that, even though in decades gone through, you know, 70s, 80s,
it's been
90s,
done before.
It's definitely been done before.
You know, it definitely weren't the first.
But we felt right now there was not many bands trying to do that kind of thing. Not even just like the through composed, playing it all in one take thing. Just the fact that we're setting up in a studio, playing live, and getting something that's super raw.
Yeah.
And in the like
honest
on the creativity side of things, what inspires your music writing?
So many different things. I really just absorb different parts of my experience and try and synthesize them. I think, you know, whether that's an internal feeling or an emotion about something, or a relationship, or an experience of that kind, or it's an observation of the world. The world is full of so many like ideas and stimulating sort of topics that it's, you know, it's kind of easy to be overwhelmed and think about things in a way that kind of feels often pessimistic, but it's taking those ideas and synthesizing them, and maybe it might come out in kind of a I wouldn't say a negative way, but synthesizing it in kind of like a concerned way or something. But trying to take different elements of the world or internal feelings, and a combination of the two, right? And putting them into something that I almost use as like a therapy kind of thing, because it's like you've got that thought out of your head and you've expressed that somehow, and you've made something of it where you can concretize it and look at it and personally go, I know what that means to me. And then you can portray that to others. And that's the beautiful thing, where sometimes others will see your song and go, oh, I know exactly what that means. And, you know, I get the intention behind it. But then other times, as Kyle was saying, you're driving and you're looking at the sunset and it's that kind of thing. Is awesome and inspiring to hear too. So I think there's so many different elements, and there isn't like one answer, because I think every artist has that, where you're a sponge and you're absorbing all these different elements of your life and others' lives, and trying to synthesize that and express it in a way that feels genuine.
Definitely. And the actual creative process, like everyone has their own different way of writing, but like a lot of people tend to sort of follow like something that works for them. So like, are you pen to paper, out in nature? Are you drinking? Are you smoking? Like, what is it for you that sort of gets you in that element to write, that space?
I think lyrically, it can be a mixture of the two, of actually sitting down and going, okay, I'm writing a song today. But then it's also just like, I can have a random thought, you know, when you're walking down the street or you're at work or whatever, it might be just a lyric that randomly comes to your head, or you see something and an idea, and I'll quickly write it down and then I'll come back to it later. But what gets me in that space, I don't really think I ever use like a substance or anything like that, because I personally would feel quite sort of limited and a little bit demoralized if I had to rely on something to get me there. I think that's a big part of it. It's not so much necessarily the clarity, because I think there is there are times when great ideas have come from and been born from sort of getting out of your own way, let's say. But I think for me personally, it's sort of a process of having an inspiration, whether that's in the moment, just quickly going, oh, I'm in the shower and I've just had this thought, I'm going to run downstairs and start writing, or it's I've thought of this 2 weeks, a month, maybe a year ago, I've had this idea and now I'm coming back to it and with fresh eyes, I'm going to sit down and work on it. But I think the common denominator on all that is actually sitting down and putting in the work. I think that's such a crucial thing, because you can get great ideas, and some of the best ideas are often when you're not thinking about it, or they just sort of pop in out of thin air and you kind of go, where did that come from? Yeah, that's awesome. But I think to actually realize them and put them into a tangible thing, you have to sit down and put in the work. If you know the book The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, that's a really good example where he talks about respecting the muse, where if you show up and you put in the work, whether or not you believe in the ethereal muse or whatever is sort of irrelevant. It's just the idea that if you show up, put in the work, and are consistently working at your craft, even though it's a creative process, you're still going to breed results because you're putting in the work and you're trying to better yourself and get better at your craft. You're going to inherently finish things, but then also get better at being creative. I think it's a mixture of the sort of idea popping into your head, but then also putting into practice the action of creating.
Yeah. And I would be interested to know if you resonate with this. For me personally, like, my creative endeavors aren't like lyric writing or anything like that, but like we all have our own creative endeavors and outlets. And for me, like, I find I'm at my most creative when I'm not consuming. I'm like just like doing everything right. Like my sleep's right, my hydration's right, my diet's right, my mental state's right. And like a lot of that is like just being out in nature, hiking. Like we do a lot of hiking. So like what are things sort of that you've noticed that will like diminish your creative abilities?
Diminish? I think, I think for me personally, sleep's a big one. I love getting 8 hours of sleep.
Good rest is imperative.
Yeah, super important, because then you're putting your mental state in the best and sharpest possible place to be able to create and make good decisions, I think. I think I also resonate with the diet thing too. Having, putting the right fuel in your body is super important. And I would also say stress is one that definitely can derail you. Yeah. But I think on the flip side of the coin, certain types of stress can be actually stimulating in a creative way. Yeah. Because stress is such an elusive term where it's like, there's the stress of, I've got to pay my bills and this is, uni assessment and my boss wants me to work extra and all those kind of things that everyone deals with all the time. But there's also, I personally find like there's a sort of a chaos and a stress in, getting after and doing lots of things in your own sort of domain that you want to do.
Well, there's different types of stress, right? I feel like it's like there's a certain type of stress that we all need to establish order. Yes. Because if there's no such thing as stress, then there's no order. So it's kind of like...
Well, stress also like stimulates growth. Like you're in the gym lifting weights, like stress on the muscle, your central nervous system is what promotes that growth. So it's needed for growth. But it's cool because I find like there's a lot of people that aren't necessarily aware of things that will like diminish them from being where they want to be, but like you're clearly aware of like those things. And do you ever find it like you're battling that temptation of, I don't know, there's a party, but like, you're meant to be getting together to write tomorrow, anything like that? Like, do you have those battles?
I think everyone has those battles for sure. I think for me personally, it's not so much like a party or anything like that. But yeah, I think I'm always looking to try and not compromise myself, whether it's a gig or something. If we're playing on the Saturday night, I'm not going to go and get trashed on the Friday necessarily because that I know that's going to set me up in a poor position for a Saturday night show or whatever. But yeah, I think there's always going to be the temptation of doing something else, and it comes down to the way I think about it is almost like an athlete, where you've got to set up your whole life to be the way that you know personally works for you to create the best output. And I think that's such an individual thing, so I'm not here to say like this is the right way. I just know what personally works for me is I know that if I get a good sleep and I'm eating right and I'm trying to get the right amount of stress that, as we said before, is kind of stimulating in that, you know, you've got a bit of a momentum and a hustle to make and create, and
you're moving forward at least.
There's a momentum in that. Then I know that's the best conditions for me. But who's to say for some people, like some of the greatest writers probably, you know, like on the extreme end, the Hunter S. Thompsons of the world, you know, lost themselves in going out and partying and getting on it and all that kind of thing. And so that also bred amazing work, or the Stephen Kings of the world, where you get lost in the chaos of cocaine and, you know, cigarettes and the whole thing. And that bred amazing work. So I don't think it's a one size fits all thing.
At all. It's just knowing what works for you. And it's like that the like pitchfork analogy. You have like your two pitchforks, and it's like this is like point A and point B, and like this is the creative outlet, and then this is like falling further away, and like you get to pitchfork, it's like you can go left or right, and like whichever one you take, you're slowly getting further and further away. And it's like then the creative outlets up here and like the distractions all the way down here, and they're just so far apart from all these decisions, because that's all life really is like, all right, get to a pitchfork, like decision,
a series of decisions.
That's it.
I think as well, on top of the discipline thing, it's also, especially in a creative domain, important not to get too wrapped up in that, because where in sport it's a very equal kind of, if you put maybe this amount of time into the gym and you're focusing on recovery and all these kind of things, you're going to get this result. It's really not like that with creativity. It's such a subjective, but also it could happen. It could be the one moment out of 20 hours of writing that gets you that one thing. It's not like you... It's
not like putting in 10 hours. It's a different metric for everyone.
It's a different metric. So I think it's important to have a bit of, you know, chaos, and I guess what we're talking about with the stress, to balance out that condition so that you can be creatively stimulated in a way that's also connects you to the real world too. I think the relationship you have to the world and your experience is inherently what comes out creatively. So you do want to experience life. You do want to
have all that exposure.
Not you know, pass up on opportunities because you're too disciplined at something. I think that's also a downfall that some people can get into. I think a lot of people probably could use a bit more discipline, but you know, there is still that balance you want to achieve. It's not just a matter of bunkering down and shutting out the world. I think any kind of creativity needs the outside
it's that rhythm. It was like did you guys watch Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen film? Like I think they like went to a cabin or something, like out in the woods away from everything, all the noise, and like they just sat in this house for like a couple of months, whatever it was, and just like wrote. And it's like just changing something as simple as like your physical environment like can work wonders for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What sort of, something I want to ask you the whole time is what for you both individuals, like what are your musical influences? And what, like I feel like there's two different types. It's like what sort of music do you guys listen to now? And then what initial music did you guys listen to / were you exposed to?
Well, yeah, I mean, like as I was saying before, like I came from very much like a rock background.
Yep.
You know, listening to the Chili Peppers, like the Clash, like all of these bands, like a lot of the bands that my dad was listening to, like I was sort of just like along for the ride and just absorbing.
Yeah. So just rock, just
like a lot of like all sorts of shit. I mean, my dad also has like a very wide taste. So like, you know, and anything from like Buena Vista Social Club, like Latin, and even a bit of jazz. But yeah, and then I mean, once I sort of found my own, like what I liked, I sort of just went from there. Like, you know, it started with jazz and a lot of like modern jazz coming out of New York as well. But like, it's not just that. Like I listen to so much, like there's so many Australian bands which I'm really into. Like one of my favorite bands is a band called God Tet.
Okay.
Which is like very like ambient, very beat based, very textural, amazing music. Another band which I'm really into is a band called Wildlife.
Okay, yeah.
They're again like very, very groove beat based, psyche, textural, like but very different. Again. And then like I guess a lot of my like influence as well just comes from drummers. Like I just like listening to drummers.
That's what I was gonna ask as well. Being like is it a thing where you kind of identify with like an instrument you may play, and then just like you pick up different drummers that you like? Or
I mean, I identify with feeling.
Okay.
You know, and so like if I resonate with a feeling of a certain band, that's what I connect with. And so like these bands, like very much a big part of it comes from the drums. Like I feel like you can express so much through the drums. Like the drums is such a primal instrument. You know, almost every culture around the world has some sort of percussion.
Yes.
Like if they don't have music, it's like there's some sort of percussion. You know, whether it's, you know, even like body percussion or like vocal percussion or like there's always some sort of rhythmic element. And
definitely.
so in order to outline that, it's like that's where it comes from. And like, you know, as I said, like the drums are so primal. You know, there's such a powerful, like tangible feeling when you like
hit something,
hear a drum, you hit something, you feel it in your body, you know? And so being able to like take control of that and, you know, efficiently create a sound and create a feeling, I feel like is so, I mean, I resonate with drummers who are very much able to do that.
Okay.
And so like all of these bands, like they all have amazing drummers that can do that. And, you know, every band I feel like has to have a good drummer.
Yeah.
Like that's beyond anything else, you need a good drummer. You need, because it's the backbone. It's that feeling. It's that primal sense of, I feel compelled to move my body to this music, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm really into. Like I saw last Friday, an amazing drummer from the UK named Yusuf Days. And the way he played the drums, I've like in a live experience was so unique and like unlike anything I've ever experienced. The raw like emotion and power that he put behind his playing. And like he has unbelievable chops. Like his technical proficiency is next level. But he uses it in a way unlike any other drummer.
Interesting.
Like he's very groove based and all of his, you know, you realize how insane it is when you go and try and replicate it.
Yeah.
You know, since that gig, that's all I've been trying to do is just like, how's he doing that? Like, what's he doing? Like, but I think it just comes down to intent. You know, like drummers that have the intent to move you, you know, that's what matters. Like you need to have the intent to do that. Otherwise it's not going to happen. You know, if you want to go to the shops, you need to have the intent to go to the shops. Otherwise you're not just going to be there.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're not 100%. Just going to find yourself at a place where you're creating these sounds and making these things. So you need to, it's like, so, I mean, I really resonate with drummers and music in general that has this ability to move you physically. Like you get into it. You like, this makes me feel good, you know? Like that is essential. It has to have that.
Yeah.
It's like,
definitely.
You know?
Because like I was thinking about it, as you said that, like when you look at, I don't know, people in crowds, audiences, whatever, like they're always bobbing along to like the beat and like that's off the drums, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that bob is just primal to everyone.
And there's different types of I call it the dance, right? Like just the feeling of like as a concept, like it has to have the character of it has a dance to it. And there are infinite numbers of like dances that you can do, right? I mean, some people think of it like a dance move, but I think of it more like a sensibility to move your body. Like it makes you want to move in a certain way. And that might be rock. Like you think like AC/DC. Bam, 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 and that's a this dance, you know, that's a head nod. Bam, you're like, yes. Or it might be we
can just keep going,
right? So it's like these are different dances. And in order for me to present that in a way, I have to fully understand that within my body. You know, and the more I feel like what makes drummers like Yusuf Days, who I saw 2 weeks ago, so amazing is that these dances are genuine to them, and they're dances that are genuine but are also unique. You have to be able to tap into the way your own body wants to move in order to present it. You know?
Have you guys heard Jordan Peterson talk about what music does for him?
Potentially,
I think so.
It was on Rogan, like his most recent one, and the way he talks about
the guitarist.
He breaks down. He breaks down just bawling his eyes out, just talking about how music makes him feel. That was crazy. When I heard that, I was like, "Holy shit!" That's exactly how I feel about music. Because he's so articulate, he can put it into the English language. Because we all feel it, like when we listen to music. But the way he was able to like put it into words, I was like, "Holy shit!"
The order into the chaos. I think
he's so articulate. You know,
it's the environment of like a dance floor where it's like you're just your brain is finding someone else who's dancing, and you just sort of link with them. And he's like, it's just the rawest thing you can do.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Have you guys another thing as well? You like I think it was David Lee Roth, like the original lead singer of Van Halen. He was talking about how like they released their first album. I forget what it's called. The Running with the Devil one. Like
might just be Van Halen.
Oh yeah, Van Halen 1. Yeah. Van Halen 1. Yeah. So how they had that album and they loved it, and it was really hard rock, and they're obsessed with it, and that's what they thought they were going to be. And then they sort of, when they went to make Van Halen 2, they were like, what was the missing piece? And they found that, it's funny because it links back to what you guys were saying, was when they were playing live, a lot of people were just sort of like this. And they went, how do we get people to move a little bit more? And if you listen to the song, do you guys know the song Dance the Night Away by Van Halen?
I don't.
Okay, so if you go and listen to it, it's just like, it's like, and it sort of makes you like move side to side. And they found that like they sort of wrote that whole album in a way that like it makes people move a lot more dynamically. And they said like if they thought about writing it, and when they wrote it and played it live, it was exactly that. So it's actually funny how you say it, and it must have a lot to do with the drums. Obviously, I have no idea. But if I listen to it, if you listen to it, with some drumming knowledge.
I mean, look, James Brown said every instrument, it has to be a drum. Every instrument has to play a part in that role. It has to provide that groove. Everything. You know, whether it's like the lyrical delivery in like hip hop. You know, you think about like the way like Nas delivers a verse, like, or a Tribe Called Quest. You know, like the way that they, like, everything in the way that they present their verse adds to that groove. You know, it's like it's tangible. It makes you move. You go, and then it's like it's another head nod, but I feel like it's a
no, but you're moving your shoulders in a certain way. It's
everything, but how it makes you feel is unique too. But it comes from that place that's genuine for them.
Definitely. And like as like you like the presenter of that, it's so important for you to, as you said, like understand how it makes like your body feel and how you want to move, and like for that to come about, like you have to have a relationship with your body.
Exactly.
Like that mind-body connection.
100%.
So like what do you, I don't know if like your intent with this, but like what have you sort of done throughout your life to develop that connection?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Like I guess through high school I did a lot of sport, but something that a lot of my mentors, and is a little bit left of field, a lot of my mentors at the con, they're very into barefoot running.
Same.
And
that's
really?
Funny.
So I'm really into barefoot trail running. And so I even just wrote a paper recently about how you can construct a criteria for efficient and accurate improvisation process, and so how well your mind is able to adapt to your surroundings through the act of barefoot running, and that's directly translatable to music. And so these things like you know, understanding the decision-making process in like the foot placement and the reaction, like say you step on a sharp rock or something and you collapse into it, how your body adapts and evolves to this dynamic environment is such an interesting thing. And I found that really, really has been able to help me understand these these things in such a deeper level.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. Do you know Ross Edgley?
No.
He swam around the UK.
Monster.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's amazing. Like, he's
Monster.
amazing endurance.
Yeah.
Like not in one go.
No, it took him 6 months, so
Right.
157
I was
days.
like,
But,
He didn't stop. Yeah.
so stop, just kept going.
It's insane. So basically, like, what he
Wow.
did, so like 6 months, didn't come to shore. He was on a boat and he would swim. For
So he didn't come back to shore.
Oh no,
That's
no.
what I meant.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Wow.
So like
Yeah.
swim for 6 hours, like they were working with the tide, swim for 6, on the boat for 6, swim for 6, on the boat for 6. So that's what a day looks like for him. 12 hours of swimming in 2 6-hour blocks. And it took him 157 days to like
That's his life for half a year. Yeah.
he's done some like insane things. He's climbed a rope the height of Mount Everest, ran a marathon towing a car, did a triathlon
with a
towing a
log on
100-pound
his
tree.
back.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like he's insane, man. He's insane, and he's really intelligent. He's written quite a few books as well. But something he talks about, because he's like a barefoot, liver. He runs barefoot, etc. And the way he like talks about shoes is like a cast. Like if you break your arm and you get a cast over your arm, like at the end of those 6 weeks, you take it off and like you've lost all that stability, all that muscle, dexterity. And like he speaks about shoes the same way on a foot, like by like putting a shoe over our foot, like we're losing all that little dexterity in our toes and our feet and all those little muscles. So it is a fascinating conversation. But
What's so interesting, because you look at like the density of nerve endings like throughout the body. Like there's certain areas with a really, really high density of nerve endings. One obviously being your hands. Another one is in your feet, right? And so like we have this like ability, like our body is designed to be feeling the ground and like aware of what's going on, as well as just like the physicality of like our leg is so well designed to be able to run barefoot, you know, like we have an Achilles tendon, and like it acts like a natural spring in order to, you know, so like there's all these natural like inbuilt physiological things that we have that are designed to help us run
definitely
and move. And it's so funny because like the shoe industry has created this story that you know, we need shoes where we really don't.
Yeah, we really don't. No, 100%. And it's like our bodies, our mind, our brain is like craving that sensory feedback. And like when we wear shoes, we have like 1 inch, 2 inches thick of foam, like stopping that. So like we're going to hit the ground harder to get that sensory feedback, which is like the result of like a lot of running injuries.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly what. Knees, like knee injuries. Like it's funny, running is like known as a sport. It's like, oh, you run? Oh, cool. So it's like, have you had a knee injury? Like, or you're probably going to get a knee injury. People think that, but as soon as you take off your shoes, that shit goes away.
Fully.
Like,
and like I think the biggest thing for me that sort of got me on that path was like we did a triathlon, like I was dealing with a lot of injuries and like it led me down that way. But like I also just think in my mind, like we should just be able to, like we've been designed in a way where like we should be able to run injury free. Like it's just so dumb to think that like we're continuously getting injured.
Yeah.
Like it just like we should be able
Doesn't
to
make any sense.
Yeah. Like you look at animals like lions, cheetahs, like they're fine. They just, that's all they do.
Yeah.
Like we should be able to do that as well.
Well, humans we are the second best animal over long distances out of any animal. Like before we were able to use tools and things like that, we would outrun everything.
Yeah, persistence hunting.
We can outrun literally any other animal by like one, and I forget what that one animal is, but
it's a full like hunting technique.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of just chasing an animal down slowly but surely until it wears out.
Because another, like we have more like we have the ability to sweat.
Yeah.
Which is like we have the ability to recover during endurance. Like so
through breath.
Exactly. Through these things we have which are there to be used in a way. Like there's a reason why we have them. You know, it's because it's how we needed them to live. We needed them to survive however long ago. Like so barefoot running I found has just been such a powerful and integral thing in for me, like understanding my body, you know. It's been a really, really interesting thing, and then translating that into music has been really cool.
That's so awesome. That's such a cool link.
And a lot of I would never expect that.
Yeah,
but which is so cool.
I had to write a whole paper on it, like it was my final exam.
Oh, sick.
Like 2 weeks ago.
That's so
It
good.
was great.
Yeah,
but it was like I really enjoyed it because it was something that I was into. It was like, this is really sick.
Yeah. On like we had a friend on the pod a few weeks ago, and he was talking about like goals versus like scenes, how like people have like really specific goals, back to what we were talking about, like they're out of our control, like whether it's, I don't know, selling this many records or anything like that. Because he was like an aspiring tennis star, and like he always wanted to like win Wimbledon, and it was like the idea of like, okay, like if I can't like focus on winning Wimbledon, like why do I want that? Like what is it? So like he realized it was like the feelings associated with like holding up the cup, the feelings associated with winning, playing in front of that many people. So it's like creating these like ideas of scenes versus goals. So like for you guys, obviously, like again, it's just being genuine. Like that is like the core of what you guys are trying to do. But like, what is like some like scenes and goals? Like if you have any specific goals of like a stadium you would love to play at, a band you would love to play under, or anything like that. Like what are things like little visions that you guys are aspiring for?
I think it's also, on top of being genuine, it's sharing that genuine music to as many people as we can. And so whatever avenue that leads us down, that's sort of the journey. That's the fun part. And, you know, just slowly building our way to playing to more people and connecting with more people.
I think playing overseas would be pretty sick.
Landing a gig overseas and then being like, these people know who I am.
Exactly.
That'd be weird. I always think about that.
We're playing in Melbourne in a week and a half, which is like, you know, it's our first time down in Melbourne. Like what we've been doing recently, we've been doing a bit of like an East Coast tour, but like it'll be our first time in Melbourne, which is, I feel like, pretty.
That's huge.
Pretty cool.
That's a big deal. That's a massive deal.
We got 2 shows down there, which is fucking cool.
So Friday the 24th, Saturday the 25th. We're excited to go down and play to a different audience there. As James said, we've been doing a bit of an East Coast tour, so we've done Newcastle and Wollongong in the last few weeks, and went up to Katoomba.
That was a really fun show.
That was really cool. I think it's in terms of scenes versus goals. I guess the scene is just sharing our music with as many people as we can. And I mean, of course, we have bands that we'd go, we'd love to support and love to play with, just because we genuinely love their music. You know, bands like Mild Life and, you know, for me personally, the Babe Rainbow or something like that would be super cool. But yeah, I think it's just being able to connect with as many people as we can and be able to support ourselves while doing that. In whatever way that manifests, I think that is success. That is the goal. That's the scene we're trying to create. And obviously, you know, the more people you can do that, we're sharing to more people, which is fulfilling the goal, but then you can also make it more financially viable.
Yeah, you can manipulate that and leverage that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a big part of it for us, but I don't think it's a case of, you know, we'll feel like we've made it when we get to this or something. Like, you know, obviously you want to play bigger venues and continue that progression, but I think, it's just continuing to translate the genuine music and connecting with more people with that genuine music is ultimately the goal.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And another question I had for you, as like the vocalist, what do you do if you do anything to like look after your voice and warm up? I've always been fascinated by that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about other people, but I've had singing lessons for about 2 or 3 years. I kind of came to singing kind of late. So I played guitar, as I said, from really about 14. And then when I hit the HSC in 2018 for my my music performance, I wanted to do a bit of singing on a couple of songs. And so I started dabbling into singing then. And then when I left school and started landing some gigs and doing that kind of thing, I went, well, I want to learn how to sing better, because it's like anything. People probably perceive that singing is something you sort of have or you don't have. And of course there's natural talent like everything, right? But it's definitely a skill that you want to learn and evolve and get better at. And that was something I knew that through my background in sports, but also I used to be quite into the gym and lifting weights and things like that. I knew that if you learn the skills and the technique over time, you'll get better. And so I went, well, if I can get a teacher and fundamentally learn the technique and the foundations and continue working on that, that'll help my performance, but also things you might not think about for like recovery. Because if you're playing multiple gigs in a row, and I used to do a lot of before Scatterlight was sort of the main thing, I used to do a lot of 3-hour cover gigs with a band as well as sometimes solo or in a duo or something like that. And so that's quite taxing on the voice, especially if you're doing multiple gigs in a row. So that technique was super fundamental to be able to recover between gigs and sing in a way that was allowing my voice to be more effective and I guess better, but also meaning that I wasn't blowing it out after a 3-hour gig and pushing through and then can't even talk after the gig and losing my voice for the next night. So things I do, I do a lot of like vocal exercises and things like that, and I'm still definitely not where I want to be, and it's one of those things I'll probably never be where I want to be, but I'm always continually trying to work on my technique and working with a teacher and that kind of thing. But I also try and do things around not just technique. So obviously hydration is a big part, and making sure my body is hydrated, because your voice is one of the last things that gets hydrated, because evolutionarily your organs, your vital organs, like your heart and things like that, and your brain, your body prioritizes the hydration of those, because you need them to survive, but you don't have to talk to survive, and especially not in a way that's singing or something projection like that. So it's hydration, but then also coming back to the sleep thing, I find that having a good sleep is really important on the voice, because in a recovery sense, in the same way, your body doesn't prioritize your voice to recover. If it's only getting 5 hours of sleep, it's going to prioritize your other vital organs and that kind of thing. So sleep, and mainly vocal exercises and making sure I'm on top of that throughout the week, and then also before the gig, just getting my voice in a good place and trying to set myself up the best I can for that day in those conditions. Because there's other things, like if I'm playing a show at the local pub 15 minutes down the road, that's way less taxing on my body than if I'm driving to Newcastle for 2 hours and then getting there super early and setting up and doing, that also plays a factor into it. So just trying to make sure, do everything in my power to make sure my voice is in a good place for that day on those conditions.
That's awesome, because I think for me personally, like I always try to better myself in like all aspects of life, and like I'm very like super into health, like our physiology and everything like that. And I found that vocals was something that I had never really considered until like, I don't know, the past like month I've been thinking about it, and just how like unhealthy it is to go from like just talking to going to like a concert to screaming my lungs off to then like just having such a sore throat the next day. It's like going to the gym and just like trying to do your like 1 RM, like bench 100, bench 120. It's like going from nothing to 100.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
And it's so unhealthy. Like at least in my mind, like my body, I shouldn't be doing that to my vocal cords, my throat and everything like that.
Worth it. Concert.
I always do find it fascinating. Because,
and I think little things like that, talking about concerts, a lot of the time, I've personally experienced as well, your speaking voice can affect how you're speaking before the gig, can affect how you sing. Because if you're at a pub and all your mates are there and there's loud music and everyone's talking and everything, you're talking over them and the noise and the ambience. So you're not talking like we're talking now, just sort of normally. You're kind of yelling and really talking and putting your voice in a compromised position. And then if you're doing that to lots of people before the gig, then you're not setting yourself up for the best performance or whatever. So yeah, there's so many factors, and it's a great analogy. You don't just go into the gym and go straight into the heaviest load you can do.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You got to warm up into it. So
yeah, no, it's fascinating.
Well, yeah, we do this thing, and like I really want to see if you guys have any just off the spot. But we do this thing where we have a challenge every week that we give to anyone who listens. So, do you guys have any sort of challenge you want them to do for the week? We'll give one as well. But do you guys have anything off the top of your head? So things like in the past,
we keep it like theme related. So like last week we had Nick on, and we're talking Muay Thai, and he challenged us to do 15 to like 20 minutes of yoga a day, which I shamefully have to say that I only did one day. I was saying to Pat yesterday, actually, I was like, I love having the pod because it's such an accountability thing. Like, I can like not do it if I didn't have the pod and no one would ever know. But I have to come on here at the end of the week.
You have to come on here and admit it.
And it's like, I'm not going to lie because that's just not who I am. So like, I did one day of like stretching and that was it. But I will ensure that next week I do whatever challenge like we have plus the yoga.
Correct. And that was, you literally took the words out of my mouth. For me last week, it was like yoga. And day one was like Monday. And I went to do it and I like, things just got caught up. And like, I just, the next minute it was like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. and I was exhausted and I just fell asleep. Then I wake up the next day, I didn't do yoga. So I was like, I've already butchered the challenge. And then that rolls into the next day. I didn't do one session of yoga this week. Like at all. I didn't do, dead set. And like yesterday, I was actually thinking about it. Like last night, like I was just before I went to sleep and I was like, I could do it right now. And I'm like, I just had no motivation to. And then I started thinking about that. I was like, just get up and do it. And then I was like, it's 15, 20 minutes. And then it started getting in my head like that. Well, I didn't do it all week. So what's the point of doing it now? Just do it next week.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, the pod actually gives you so much accountability for these challenges. And
we both failed.
we both failed. And you could argue you did one, but at the same time, it's just like.
But, I think the most beautiful thing though, like, and Nick actually said it yesterday, like whatever doesn't go right in your life, like you can point fingers anywhere you want to go, but like ultimately the finger's always going to come back to you.
Yeah.
And one of my friends, I forget who it was, but like we were talking about that same thing, but they said like you're focused on like where the one finger's pointing, but you forget about where the three fingers are pointing.
Who said that?
I forget who said that, but
I was there.
Someone said that to me and I loved that because
that's awesome.
The only reason yoga didn't get done was
empower you.
I can make all these excuses I want. I can blame it on sleep, being busy, work, whatever. But I had 15, 20 minutes like every single day. I had longer hours and I didn't do it.
Yeah. And you learn mini micro lessons that are like sort of just like you weren't aware of. Like things like me stacking time. Like things just stack. And then I'm like, what the heck? Where did that all go? You know what I mean? Like I was meant to fit freaking 15 minutes of yoga in. How did I not fit 15 minutes? Like, and you start thinking about it like that. Like, what am I doing?
Just didn't make it a priority.
Yeah. Like, and then learning priority, and then you start going down that, and you start thinking about it. So, yeah, it was really good. But do you guys have anything that you would want to give to someone else? Like, you could keep it music themed.
I've got one.
Yeah.
So I think nowadays with how people listen to music, it's very much so like listening to singles and listening to, one song.
I love where this is going.
One song you've heard on the radio and you've got a playlist that's, full of completely different songs.
Quick hits.
Yeah, which is an awesome thing and such a beautiful tool. But I think, especially with the way we've created our new EP, I want to encourage people to listen to an album in full. Because that's the whole story that the artist is trying to convey, and they've put those songs in that order for a very specific reason. So I would say the challenge would be listen to a full album, whatever that is, every day. If you can listen to one full album.
Sick.
I love that.
Yeah,
I know exactly the first one I'm going to listen to. It's I forget the name of Tasha's album, Tash Sultana. But like her first song is called like Seed. And then the last song is called Outro.
Flow state is what I call it.
Yeah, and it's like so clearly intent. The first name like of the first song is Seed, like
which a lot of them are. Yeah, there's a lot of
So,
I love doing that. It's so good, and it's such a different experience because it's like you're sort of linked with the artist. Like you're giving them a lot more respect. Like you respect the creative process.
Exactly.
You're trying to see it for how they see it, but you're seeing it in your eyes.
And you wouldn't watch a movie by watching the best scene. You watch the
literally what I was going to say.
The whole hour and a half,
Correct.
2 hours
Yes.
even. So it's like 40-minute album on your drive is not that crazy. You've just got to not put it on shuffle or not click the playlist or whatever.
Yeah, just start at the top.
Start at the top and let it go.
Yeah, and I was going to say that same analogy, but for like a TV show. So there's 6 episodes. Like you don't watch episode 4 then 1. It just makes no sense, right? You're not getting like yes, you might enjoy the episode. Yeah. But it's like you're not getting the full story. Yeah, you're not experiencing the story.
And it's really just that like visual stimulus that keeps people like watching a TV show versus like not listening to a full album. But I think in that, like as Kyle and I, we both had like very visual experiences listening to like your guys' album. So like if you're listening to the album, like go in a park or something, close your eyes and just like feel the music and see where it takes you.
Yeah, 100%. I have another challenge as well that I wanted to sort of say is if you can, like obviously it depends on the age, but like for someone who can go out and like go see some live gigs, go down to like your local spot and try and see someone live. Because I feel like a lot of us have I? Actually, yeah, I have. But like a lot of people haven't experienced live music since it's been back.
Yeah.
So it's like go and experience that because it's instead of listening to it in your ears, it's like you're actually seeing the artist creatively on stage. And if you can't do that, like there's a bunch of concerts on YouTube. I remember like when I was a kid and I've watched this thing freaking like at least 50 times, like Robbie Williams at, I forget where it was. There's Nebworth, like it's some concert.
It's a big festival in the UK, I think.
Yeah, at Nebworth, Robbie Williams set there, and like I literally used to dress up as a kid and watch that. So it's like anything that's sort of like that to you, go and watch that if you can't get to a live spot.
I think there's a connection you get from going to see an artist live. I've always thought that you don't really become a fan of a band or an artist until you've seen them live, because you can add a song to a playlist or you can hear them on the radio and go, oh yeah, I like that, that's cool. But when you get that experience that you just like, it's awesome, as you say, watching a live concert. And if you for whatever reason can't get to the show, absolutely watch a concert. But to get the full experience and really connect with an artist, you want to be going to see the show, whether it's the intensity of a full rock band just smashing you over the head with loud noise, or it's a solo acoustic player that's in the corner and you can hear the nuances of them expressing that in the moment. You don't get that connection with the artist until you've seen it live.
No, 100%, man. And you get to like witness their visual, like what their face is doing, what their body language is doing. You get to see how like into that moment they are.
Something that came to mind just then was like the first time I saw Midnight Oil live. Yeah. Like obviously like we're an older gen and it was with you. We saw them at the Domain.
Yeah.
You know, like the
I went to that concert.
No shit. No way.
Yeah.
Dude, and there was the
17.
And there was the stage, the walkout stage up the middle. Yeah. And like Petey's just going out there going hard. And like if you'd only heard, you know, like I don't know, Beds Are Burning or something like that, just because your dad plays it or whatnot, and then you go and see them live and Peter Garrett just he just is just moving around and just feeling it, so unorthodox, but it's just what he feels. And also another thing to note is like the difference between them and like a newish band. So like I think like I recently saw Lime Cordiale, guys from Narrabeen, and like them, they're just so young and fresh. The difference between watching them and then watching like a band like Midnight Oil,
two different experiences.
And they were literally like Wednesday night was Lime and then the next night was Midnight. So it was like seeing the two difference, like they're just such vets. It's like their final Sydney tour. And just like the difference between the two was just like, it was such a different vibe, but just equally amazing. That's, you know what I mean?
That's awesome.
But yeah, do you have anything or just leave it at that?
No, that's pretty much it. Thank you like heaps for coming on. Like plug yourselves, like where do we find
where do we find you? I guess Spotify.
Spotify is a big one. So our new EP is called Wise Eyed Open,
which is sick.
And we've got another self-titled EP there you can listen to too. But Instagram's a big one for us.
That's probably our main like news outlet for things that is happening at the moment, like Instagram, and then like events on Facebook for gigs and stuff.
Yeah, so
But yeah,
we're just Scatterlight Band, one word, no caps on both
Cool.
of those
And we'll
things.
tag everything, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then our next Sydney show is on the 1st.
Of
Of July.
July.
So Friday the 1st of July, so 2 weeks from today.
Probably
trying to
come
think if we can make that.
we
When
can.
is it? What day?
It's
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
We can probably.
I
make
think
that.
we're around for that.
That's
Oh,
the
we
plan.
are.